Hi everyone, it's Don and I hope you're having a fantastic day. Well, we now have threatening lawsuits not against the cruise lines for the first time, which is normally the case. We have a lawsuit being threatened against the government of the United States and the CDC from the state of Florida. That's right, the governor of Florida has now called a press conference and said, to the Biden administration, it's time to rethink the cruise lines and allow the cruise lines to start sailing this summer, or we're going to sue you. And it's an interesting take on the situation. I am one who is completely against litigation in most cases of anything. And this one here probably will get defeated easily. And you know me, I'm pro-cruising. And I'm the one saying it will probably get defeated pretty easily. At least it will rebound from one court to another all the way up to the Supreme Court until finally it gets heard. But chances are the pandemic will be over in the United States by the time that happens. So, because we all know how long the courts take and the government takes, etc., etc. But their argument is quite simple, that they have been keeping the cruise lines out of work for a year. The only business operating in the United States that has been closed for a year by government regulations directly aimed at them. So, for instance, if a state came out and said we have to lock down all of our businesses and it went widespread, that's a different story. But they're the only agency that actually has a branch of a United States government, the CDC, coming out and saying you can't operate. Specifically aimed only at them. That's a different story than a widespread blanket. Had Florida come out and said, all right, we have to shut everything down for a month, and that included the cruise lines and everything and the theme parks, everybody's fine with that. And then when the theme parks start opening up and the hotels start opening up and the restaurants start opening up and the taxi services start opening up, the bus services, the train services, the airlines, why couldn't the cruise lines? Because one government body said no. And so they're arguing that that is basically unconstitutional. It reflects only on basically big time on one state, Florida in particular, economy. They have over 150,000 employees directly with the cruise lines. They have the two biggest cruise ports in the world. And now cruise lines are going elsewhere. They're going directly to the Caribbean and Bermuda, looking at Mexico. They're opening more and more sailings in the UK than they were thinking about ever doing. Some of the ships that were designed for being here are now being sent elsewhere. And could this be a long-term trend if the CDC keeps this enactment going for any more length of time? Possibly. And the cruise lines are getting, so much the cruise lines, but the cruise ports are getting worried. Florida's getting worried. Businesses that rely on those jobs are getting worried. They are saying, look, we lost about $57 billion worth of business in 2020 from the cruise ships. And we're already going to lose a half a year this year, no matter what. Even if we were to start sailing in July, we've lost half a year. So they're saying it's time to stop thinking about your archaic practices of thinking about that framework. Because when you design the framework, vaccines weren't a thing, cases were way up, mortality rate was way up, all these things were way up, and now they're all down and vaccines are here. In fact, Biden's goal of having 100 million doses, like people vaccinated in his first 100 days, has now changed to 200 million. Double that. And that is on track. You're already at 138 million people who have been given the vaccine. So like, that's amazing. That's amazing. Because here in Canada, we're at 4 million. And no matter how this turns out, whether cruise lines can open or not, I can't cruise because I won't have my vaccine. And I don't know when I can get my vaccine. And our cases are just zooming like this right now because of the incompetence right now of our vaccine rollout. So, Joe, Mr. Biden, President Biden, if you're listening, if you have any more extra doses of vaccines lying around, Canada can use it. In fact, you guys are giving out 2 million doses a day. If you could just say, for 3 days, send them to us, that would more than triple how many people have gotten doses in Canada. Just saying. So count your lucky stars, everybody in the United States. If you want a vaccine and you're looking and you're hoping to open up everything, that's a good thing. So yeah, will this go through? Probably not. Is it another pressure on the government to look at the situation? You now have the cruise lines coming out. By the way, we had Royal Caribbean, Norwegian Cruise Line, Princess was there, Carnival was represented there, Disney was even represented there in that press conference held by the governor in Florida saying, it's time to do something or we're going to have to take legal action. Would the legal action work? Probably not. You know how governments work. It would just start off in the state legislature, and then it would go to the Supreme Court, and then it would go from the Supreme Court there to the Supreme Court somewhere else. And it would take months and months and months. And if everything holds true and those vaccines get in everybody, that's literally 3/4 of the population by the end of next month. And so hopefully all those numbers will go down and things will start getting back to normal in the United States, and this will all just go away. But it does seem very, very strange at how strict that no attention's being paid to the cruise lines whatsoever. Even when they're asked about it, they have no timeline. They have no framework. They have no nothing. They have not said a word in over 5 months now about how to start cruising in the United States, even though it's starting up everywhere else now. Pretty much everywhere, except maybe Australia. But everywhere else, they're on the rise and getting going. So we'll see what happens. Do I think this will hold water? No, but it's certainly a nice little, hey guys, I'm trying to do what I can from the governor in Florida. And yeah, I'd be frustrated too if, billions of dollars of revenue from my state was being held up by some pretty outdated thinking right now from a government body. Well, I hope you appreciate this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. We'll see more tips, more tricks, more travel vlogs from around the world. Hit that subscribe button. Till next time, have yourself a safe and a great vacation.